Today we're going to be coloring this page out of Whimsical Patterns Volume 1. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Erica Henry with Coffee and Coloring, and I produce line art and grayscale coloring books, and I kind of look a mess today, sorry. It's late. So today we're going to be coloring this picture, which I showed a second ago, and then the things that I'm going to use are the Matte Helix Color Peps. This is a 48 pack of their colored pencils. They did send me these to review at one point. It's been a while and I've used them a lot. They are wax based. Now the first time that I got these, I did break them right here, the packaging, because I didn't realize there was a little piece of tape. So if you end up getting these for yourself after watching me color with them, just be cautious that there's a piece of tape or you'll rip it. I'll also be probably using a Prismacolor white colored pencil because I love white colored pencils and I use them for everything. I use them for blending so much. Let's see if I have them handy. Kind of addicted. You can see how many's in there. I use them a lot. I'll also more than likely use a Prismacolor blender pencil at some point. I use those sometimes for darker colors, mainly for anything that's not really dark. I usually use the white. I'll also be using this. This is a sandpaper board. I don't really know the technical name, but I use this for whenever my pencils are fairly sharp, like they have a long tip, but they're not pencil sharp, like really sharp. I'll use this to create a sharp point again, and then it saves my pencil. I did make a color chart of the colors that are included in this set. I always like to make color swatches whenever I'm trying something new, so I can get a good idea of how the color's actually gonna look. It's just something that I've gotten into the habit of doing because so many products are sent to me for review now. There's just so many different ones out there, and I like to get a feel for them first. So just letting you know. So now we're going to zoom down and get to coloring. All right, so this picture has a lot of different ways that I could go with it. I could make these the main focus, or I can make these a bold color and make them the focus. Just a lot of things that I could do with it. I don't know what I'm gonna do yet because that's how I do things. When I start drawing, I usually don't have a good idea of what I'm going to draw or those kinds of things. My brain just doesn't work that way. This is what I'm going to start with. One thing that I do want to say is that what I'm going to be doing here is what I like to do. There is no right or wrong way to do it. There's no right or way wrong to color. Just do what feels good to you. I'm not classically trained or anything like that. Not that there's anything wrong with that. It's just not me. I didn't go to school for art. I didn't, do anything like that. I watched YouTube and experimented and tried new things until I got, what felt right for me. And, I always say what I do is what I do. You do whatever you want to do. I make a lot of tutorials for you guys. I'm behind. I have a lot taped that I haven't put out. But that's just what I do. So don't ever feel like my way is the right way and what you've been doing is wrong or anything like that. It's just after trying, I found what works for me. So don't ever get discouraged if what you're coloring doesn't look like what somebody else does or anything like that. And I just like to put that out there because I find a lot of times in these groups, people compare themselves too much. It's good to compare and want to learn new things, but you've got to give yourself credit too. While I'm coloring this, what I'm doing is I put a light layer down. When I work with colored pencils, I like to work in light layers, and then you build and build and build and build on those, and the more layers you make, the more wax that you put down if you're using a wax colored pencil, and it makes it easier to blend. Once you have a few layers down, it makes it much easier to blend. A lot of times whenever I put my first layer down, I'll hold my pencil like this and color more like this because I I don't push as hard. I can't push very hard with like this. And it just helps me make sure to keep a lighter hand. So if you find that you're pushing too hard, try holding your pencil in a different position. Alright, so I'm going to color a few of these little guys, and then we're going to move to another color. So, like I said, a lot of times I'll hold my pencil to the side as I do my first layer. And I'm actually going to blend a lot of colors that you're probably not going to expect together. I come through and I put my first layer down, then the next layer I push a little bit harder. And what I'm doing is I'm focusing on these areas that would have a shadow in my mind. Hopefully you guys can see. Yeah. Wanted to make sure that I was still in frame. So anywhere that I feel like something would be on top, I'm coming through and adding a little bit more just to give it a little bit of a shadow and give it more depth. Because that's just my particular way of coloring. I like to add shadows and depth and those kinds of things. So that's just me. Alright, so now I'm going to come in here. I'm going to use this blue that was inspired by the package and put a nice little layer down to get that started. So has everybody had a good day today? Mine was long. I was so ready to get some coloring done because my day was very long. It was a rough day, but that's okay. Rough days happen, but I'm still here, and tomorrow will be better. Now I'm coming back through and putting a little bit darker on the edges here, just to give it a little bit more dimension. Alright, I'm going to do the same thing to this one, and I will not get this whole thing done during our color along. I'm a slow colorer. I always have been. So I won't get it done. So I like to focus on, you know, a couple of little sections just to kind of show you what I would like to do with it. Well, now I think for this one, I want to put bright green behind these. So I'm holding my pencil to the side because I want a light layer, and I'm going to build on that layer. Now these color pencils are very cheap. I'm wanting to say last time I looked them up on Amazon, they were like 12 bucks, I think. So they're very reasonable. And I'm not paid to tell you guys to go buy them or anything like that. They gave me a free pair to try out and review, and I do give honest reviews, and I was very impressed by these. Now, I will say that whenever I was reviewing them, I was not very fond of the highlighter ones. So I'm coming through here and laying down some of this green, and the reason that I picked the green, aside from the fact that it was my inspirational color from the image that I posted, was because I wanted to make these pop, and I thought the green would work really well with that. Alright, so I'm going to use this jade color, and I think I'm going to color in this. I'm putting a main layer down, and I will come back through if I have time and make some changes to this, but I want to get this first layer down because, like I said before, I work in layers, and the more layers I have down, the easier it becomes to blend. And so I'm putting that down just so I have that layer. Now I think I'm going to come through with this purpley color, and I'm going to use it for shadows because in real life, shadows are not black. And if you've watched my other color alongs, I talk about this a lot because a lot of people think that shadows are black. And I use black probably the least of any color that I have because it's such a strong color. It overpowers everything else, at least whenever I use it. I can't get it to be tame enough So I very, very rarely use black, which surprises a lot of people. Connie, so I'm using the MAPS products. So far I've used Steel Blue, Jade, Fluo Green, which I'm not usually a fan of their fluorescence, but I wanted to use this here. I also used Fuchsia, and now I'm using Aubergine. And I'm not very good at remembering to tell y'all what colors I'm using, and that's because I kind of get in a zone and I don't think about what colors I'm using as far as the names of them. I just grab what I think will look good at that moment. So I'm sorry, but this isn't, you know, to mimic me. It's to do your own thing. So I'm also going to take this Aubergine and do around these corners, because this edge, because I want to make this pop. And that'll help just deepen that blue. So like I said before, I may use some color combinations that might surprise you a little bit, but in the end I'll show you, you know, how I make them work together. And sometimes it's just sheer luck. I'm going to be completely honest. Alright, so I need a tip on this thing. So this is where my sandpaper Stedliner or Stettler sandpaper thing, I don't know what it's called. I just found it. I saw a YouTuber use it once and I was like, oh my gosh, I gotta try it. And it's like $2 in the store that I was at. But instead of sharpening this and wasting more pencil, I'm just gonna take this and roll it around at a little bit of an angle, and it's gonna give me a sharp tip again. So it saves my pencil, which I love, because I do use Prismacolors a majority of the time, and those suckers are expensive. But I use them in my artwork, so I kind of justify it that way for my commission pieces and those things, because people do hire me to make artwork for them as well. So I do artwork, and then I also do the coloring books. And whenever I do my artwork, I like to use my Prismacolors, so I like to save them as much as possible. Yeah, Jessica, I wish I knew the name of this. I've looked it up on Amazon before, and I put like sandpaper, I think it was sandpaper pad for colored pencils or something like that for artists, and I found it. So, but this one I bought at a local mom and pop art store. Sorry, I spilt the colored pencil residue from the sandpaper. Alright, now I'm also going to take this purple and I'm going to put it on top of the green. And when I put it on top, it's going to still have some of the green underneath, and it's going to make a new color and blend together. So that's why I put the green down first, because I wanted that first layer, and I wanted that depth of color that's created by doing the various colors there. They blend together, and that is something I really like about these pencils, and I was really impressed because I love blending my color pencils. I love making new colors. If you've ever watched my YouTube channel, you'll know that I like to use a lot of colors, and that's why it takes me forever to color or do art, because I'm big time on building those layers and building those layers and creating new colors. So as you can see, well, I hope you can see, I'm not sure how clear my camera is, but I used the same purple here as I did here. And because this was on a purple-ish pink color, or maroonish, it made a different color than it did on the green. So even though I have the same Aubergine, or however you say this color, I'm able to make additional colors by mixing them together. And I may be telling y'all something that you already know, but some people don't know that you can mix colored pencils. And the more layers that you put on here, now I'm using Steel Blue, the more colors that the layers you put down, the easier it's going to be to blend colors. So that's why I put some light layers first, and then as I go, I put a little bit more pressure and a little bit more pressure in most cases because the paper already is saturated with that colored pencil underneath. All those different layers. Now, I'm going to show you, if you've never seen the white colored pencil to blend, that is my absolute favorite. And usually I do put a few more layers down before I throw that one on top. But I am coloring on cardstock versus regular paper. So it has a little bit more tooth. And tooth is, the easiest way to explain it is just the roughness of the paper that holds the medium. But cardstock has more tooth than regular paper, so it can take a little bit more punishment and before it breaks down. So I'm actually going to go ahead and use some a little bit more pressure, and I'm going to blend this out. So I am going to cheat, and I use the Prismacolor white. But that is because it is my absolute favorite white colored pencil. I am pushing a little bit harder than I did with the others because I'm more burnishing. And that's kind of pushing the tooth down and blending those colors together. Now these aren't Prismacolors. I know that you guys have seen works done in Prismacolors before. Lots of people in groups own them. Or Stettlers, or, you know, those kinds of things. The more expensive, more artist quality pencils. But you don't have to have those to create gorgeous pieces of work. They're great. They make the job easier. That's my main reason why I love them. But that is what blew me away about these, is because they're super cheap and they blend really well. And Michelle, I'm using the Color Peps by Matte Helix, and or Maped Helix. I can never say this right. I'm from the South. We say things funny. But I think they were like $13 on Amazon, and there's 48 in here. But I was just really blown away by how well they blended when I was using my Prismacolor color pencil, the white on top. I was just really blown away by how well they blended together. I hadn't seen other non-artist quality that blended this well, so it really amazed me. So just putting that out there. When I first opened these, I just remember that that's what blew me away about them, because they felt more like my Prismacolors than any other non-artist wax-based colored pencils that I've tried. So I actually find myself using them a lot, even though I own Prismacolors, because I don't necessarily want to use them all the time in my colorings. So sometimes, you know, I put those aside and I color these. So now I'm going to take Strawberry, because it just kind of caught my eye, and I'm going to put Strawberry through here. And one of my animals is trying to get in. I have way too many animals, I'm sad to say, but I love them. But they do not like whenever I'm recording videos either. That was our cat Heisenberg. I don't know if we have any Breaking Bad fans in the group tonight, but he was inspired by the great Heisenberg. And I was a big fan. On my artist page, which is Art by Erica H., I have a picture of Heisenberg that I did in graphite. And if you guys want to check that out, please feel free. It's one of my favorite pieces I've ever done, because I'm very proud of that. And I actually entered it into a contest to be in the guy who plays Heisenberg in his autobiography. So we'll see if I win. I may not. Alright, so I put some Strawberry down, and then I came back through with this fuchsia, which looks more maroon to me, but that's okay. I didn't name these things. Now I'm going to come through with, and this might surprise you, but I'm going to come through with this azure blue, and I'm going to put it down on this pink. It's been a crazy few months for me. It just has. So I'm coming through with this blue, And I'm making a new color. I don't know what I'd call that color, but that's what I'm making. And I'm going to throw a little bit of green in it. And I'm using deep green. Because I'm going to use that for shadows because I use purples, blues, and greens a lot for my shadows. And before you know it, this is going to be a whole different color than strawberry, which is going to be a color that is not in the selection, but I like to make my own colors. And these two I'm going to do really dark because I want to emphasize those that they're really underneath. I don't know. We'll just go with it. Alright, take my white color pencil, and this time I'm going to have to push a little bit harder because I know that these colors, I haven't put many layers down, so I'm going to have to push harder to blend them just because I haven't put many layers down. But we're going to blend this out and we're going to create a new color. Here you can tell that's a whole lot different of a color than we started out with strawberry there. But we're just going to make our own colors. That's the beauty of colored pencils. We can do that. If you have a good set, and good set doesn't have to mean expensive, you can just create your own things. I want to put some yellow here because I want to make this pop a little bit more. Come back through with my white. And a lot of times if I can, I like to work in circular motions when I'm trying to blend the colors. I can't always do that, but I do like to do it when I can. I'm going to come back through with a little bit more steel blue. I'm going to emphasize this shadow here because I want it a little bit more shadowy. I'm going to pull this one down a little bit more too because I'm trying to create the illusion of it bending a little bit. That's just kind of what I decided I wanted to do with it. And that's one thing that I really love about pattern pieces because you can do what you want with them. This started out as some random little box with some dots in it, and I turned it into a little bendy thing. Who knows? I've not had enough coffee today. Definitely not had enough caffeine. But I just wanted to show you, you know, you can create your own colors and you can do your own thing. And just because you have a small set doesn't limit you. It might make things a little bit harder, but you can still create a wide depth of colors. Now I'm coming through here with this deep green, and I'm going to really bold out these shadows. I'm going to extend them up a little bit as well, because I think that'll look nice. And like I said, a lot of times whenever I color, I don't know what I'm going to do ahead of time. So even having a plan of inspired by colors was a big leap for me. Unless I'm doing a portrait or something where I'm wanting to do my photorealistic style of drawing, I don't usually have a plan. I'm a Netflix and YouTube junkie, and I follow lots of people on YouTube doing art, and I could just sit there and watch it all day. It's just so relaxing to me. Even though I'm not doing it myself, it's just so relaxing to see the things that they create to me. Alright, now I'm going to take a lovely pink. That's the name of it. I didn't say that. It's just the name of it. And I'm going to add a little bit here because I think that that transition will look really good. I do like that transition. From the shadows and then a little bit darker up to the lighter. And if you were to see me color this, you know, say a week from now, I would have completely different colors because I like to experiment. Now my white's getting a little not so sharp, so I'm just going to take this. I'm twisting it as I go back and forth because I want a sharp tip. Now I could do this one way, turn it over 90 degrees or 180 degrees and do it the other way and make a flat tip and be able to draw pretty cool lines. It's another little technique I do sometimes with that. Now I'm just coming through and really adding, I'm pushing hard by the way too, and really accentuating these highlights because I want that to pop. Alright, so let's see here. I think I'm going to take this deep green, and I think I'm going to work in the green some now. To me, there's going to be a shadow along here because I want this on top of the green. So I'm going to create that illusion. I'm going to create the illusion that that's on top and that the pink bar is on top as well. So everything's on top of this green. This green's going to be in the very bottom. Now if I was to color this the opposite way, this picture would look much different. And that's another thing that's really cool about patterns. And I've colored so many pages within this book. You know, I've printed them out and tried them out before I bound them in the book because I wanted to see what they would look like. And some of them I tried a couple different ways. I'm not sure if I still have the files. I moved my art studio into a different room in my house, and so much of my stuff's gone or just not put where it belongs yet. I hate moving. But, so I'm just coming through and creating some shadows. Some of them I'm going to extend down a little bit more because I like that look. Some of them aren't going to be out as much because it's not going to be as on top. Now, I did mention with the Maped colored pencils, the Color Peps, I'm not a big fan of the fluo green, which surprises me that I picked this one. And there's a reason. One of my dogs has joined us. So you might hear her walking around, but it's better than having her knock at the door. So one reason that I don't like the colors that say fluo, and I think there's 4 different fluorescent colors in this pack, is because they don't lay down as nicely or as smoothly as these, the regular ones. And I guess it's because of whatever they use to make it this more fluorescent color. It's more scratchy to me. It doesn't lay down as smooth a color, and that is the reason that I don't like them. So I don't even usually grab those. Let's see here. I think I'm going to put some more of this fuchsia in the shadows as well. I don't want to put too much because I want to be cautious because this has so much fuchsia. I don't want it to blend together. But a light layer, so I'm holding my pencil to the side so you can see I'm holding it like that. A light layer is going to give me a much lighter touch. So it's not going to be as hard and it's going to be easier to blend. So I just want that touch of that fuchsia in here because I want to tie it together, but I don't want it to look like it's blended, you know, melded into one. I'm also going to come in here with this dune, which is this nice, bright, it's not a dune color to me. When I think of dune, I think of browns, not a golden yellow, but hey, whatever works. They're just the names. You can use whatever. I have 2 beagles, a Beagle German Shepherd mix, and then the most crazy mix of all I have, and the one that's in here with me right now, I have a Pitbull Dachshund mix. So think Weenie Dog with a Pitbull head. She's so adorable though, but it's such a weird mix. Alright, so I'm going to take my white now, push hard. I'm going to do my little circly motions just to help blend it. And we're going to blend these colors together. So by using what? I think I used 4 different colors. By using around 4 colors here, I created a much more, what's the word I'm looking for? A color here that has more depth and isn't nearly as flat as it was because of all these shadows and these mixings of these colors. It's just a more rich color. Maybe that's what maybe that's the word I'm looking for. More rich. Now, a white color pencil can also be used to take up white space, to make that go away. So I'm actually going to turn this, I'm going to experiment on this. Because we have a little bit of time, and I know I'm not going to get this finished. I just like talking with you guys and coloring along. So when I put my first layer down, and this is whether I'm using Prismacolors or not, there's always white left. There's always white showing through on the paper. So it takes a couple of layers to really start to get rid of that white. But unless I'm pushing really hard, I have a hard time making that go away. And I'm just creating some different, mixing some different colors here. Putting a couple of layers down so we've got a good base. Wasn't planning on doing this, but inspiration struck. So I'm also going to come through here and try to put as many of the same layers down, just so we've got some color and some wax down. So a lot of people like the colorless blender. The colorless blender works well. I find I have to push so hard though. It hurts my hands. I work all day long with my hands, so my hands get very tired. So I usually reserve this for darker colors that I don't want to lighten, because the white will lighten. But the white, in my opinion, blends them even better than the blender pencil does, which is why I like to use it, because it just does. In my opinion, there's not nearly as much white showing. I didn't have to push nearly as hard, so it keeps my hands from tiring out too bad. And that's why I love it. You can also use cream. So I spent about the same amount of time, one colorless blender, and actually this side even had more wax than this side did. But I'm going to hold that up. Maybe you can see the difference. I'm using my iPhone to record. This side was the colorless blender. I can still see some white of the paper showing through. And then this side used the white color pencil. It just, there's such a noticeable difference between the two, in my opinion. It just makes it a big difference to me. So our time's almost up. I think I'm about done coloring this. I know I didn't get far, but I'm a very slow colorer. But I hope that you really enjoyed learning that you can mix colors that you may not think together. Like this had reds and greens and blues and yellows, just to make this very interesting shape here look different and look more dimensional. She's heavier than she looks like she would be. So she's the size of a weenie dog. She's long like one, as you can see. But then she has a pit bull face. Look at him. There we go. So anyways, y'all wanted to see her. But she's so heavy. You would think she would, you know, weigh as much as a weenie dog, but she doesn't. She's nothing but muscle. She actually pulls our bigger dogs around. But it is now 9 o'clock Eastern. So my hour's up. Thank you so much, and I'm done for the night. I've got to go do laundry. Gotta love my nights. But I'm sure you guys understand. Laundry never ends. Laundry and dishes. Ugh. Hate both, but they gotta be done, or else everybody doesn't have anything to eat on and has to run around naked. I've got to have some coffee. But thank you guys for being here. Thank you so much for watching. You can click to check out another video. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel to stay up to date on the newest videos that come out. Please remember to comment below on what you'd like to see next, whether it's a tutorial or a review on another product. I want to hear from you, because you guys help guide me on where to go. Thanks again. It's Erica Henry with Coffee and Coloring. Until next time, bye.